Hey everybody, welcome to Northwest Small Batch Brewing. I'm Steven, and today's brew discussion is going to be on how to make high gravity beers. We're talking stuff like barley wine, wheat wine, anything that's like takes a lot of grain to make a high ABV sort of beer. So before we get started, it would really help my channel out if you consider subscribing to the channel, and that way you get notified every time I put out a new video. And of course, if you didn't know, there's a little bell icon that lets you adjust when you get notified, how you get notified, so that it doesn't drive you crazy. And then if you hit the like button, it helps get my videos to come up in the YouTube search bar, so all that helps quite a bit. Aww. So let's get going here. So high gravity beers. So I have a couple examples in my library if you want to check them out. I'll put a link up here for my wheat wine, which is really good. I just finished the last one, I think, but yeah, turned out amazing. And then I'll put another link up here after that for my barley wine, which is also a beer that turned out really good and I would definitely make again. So let's talk about how to do this. So first of all, we're talking about having to make a beer that takes so much grain that it won't fit in your brewing vessel or your brewing system that you have. Like a normal 5-gallon batch would take somewhere around 12 pounds of grain. So let's say you're going to do like 24 pounds of grain. You're going to double that, right? You can't fit that much grain in your brew vessel. It just won't saturate. You can't put enough water with it. So there is a sort of method of doing it called polyguile, although I just call it double mashing. So it's really simple. Here's how it works. You take your grain, all your grain, let's say it's 24 pounds, and you divide it into two, right? Whatever will fit evenly into your system. So let's say we do two 12-pound buckets, separated of grain. You want to try to get as much of your base grain into one bucket as you can. If it's all 12, say it's 12 pounds, that's half, and you can do all 12 pounds of base grain, then do it. If you're doing 10 pounds of base grain, then add a couple more pounds of whatever your, flavor grains or whatever, are on top of it. Whatever it is to divide it up in half, but try to get as much of your base grain into one side as possible. So you're going to do your first mash the way you would normally do your mash. You use the normal strike temperature, the normal whatever mash temperature you're supposed to use to make the beer. You use the regular amount of volume of water that you would want to use to reach your pre-boil volume. And then you mash in the bucket that has all the base grain in it. And you mash that for your hour. It really helps if you have a system that recirculates your wort during the mash. It really increases your efficiency, and that really helps with this particular method. So your hour mash is up. You pull your bucket up. You drain your grain. Hang on. I made a video or a t-shirt. I said I was going to make a t-shirt for this. I hope you can see this. I can't see the camera, but I made a little t-shirt. Drain your grain, my friends. Drain your grain. One-of-a-kind t-shirt. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. I just love that phrase. So you drain the grain and then, give it like 10-15 minutes to drain. Use a pot lid to squeeze out any liquid, and then see where you're at on volume-wise. You want to basically bring the volume of your water back up to your pre-boil, whatever volume of water will get you to your pre-boil volume after the sparge. So whatever that is, you're actually going to sparge back water into, right? So instead of just adding water to top up, you're going to actually sparge it, because you might as well rinse the grain. You might as well, sparge it through the grain and get whatever extra sugars that are still there off of your grain, because you haven't actually mashed out that grain. So now you're going to dump that grain. You're done with it, and you're going to you're back up to your normal volume of water, and now you're going to mash in your second bucket of grain into that already mashed liquid. And then you mash your second, you do your second mash exactly the way you'd normally do a first mash. You do it for an hour or however long your mash is supposed to be for your recipe, at whatever temperature. recirculate if you can, and then again, when it's done, your normal draining of the grain, and then you continue from there. I will say that if you're at that point, I don't know, I usually wait till I finish the boil, but at whatever point you take a reading and you find that you maybe are a little low, because it can happen when you're doing a double mash like this that you just can't get every little bit of sugars that you normally would get. So you may be a little bit low. If that happens, just keep a little bit of dry malt extract or liquid malt extract around. There are online calculators you can use to determine how much you need to add to get your gravity number to X, Y, or Z. So it shouldn't be much. If you're following this, these directions, it shouldn't take much, but it's always good to have that around as an emergency. I need to raise the gravity by just a little bit as necessary. You may not need it at all, but it's good to have around just in case. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So it's basically double mashing to, since you can't do it all at once, you do it in 2 separate mashes. It does extend your mash day a little bit, so, it is what it is, but that's how you can make, like a barley wine or a wheat wine or something that's a high gravity beer when you don't have a system that, like if you don't have like a 20-gallon system where you can mash that much grain all at once, then you're just going to have to split it up. So that's all I got for you. I hope that's helpful in explaining how you can make a high gravity beer. As always, any comments or questions in the comments, and thanks for stopping by. I will have another video for you in a week, and until then, happy brewing.